Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Mr. Cobalt, and in this video I'm going to be going over the temperature dependence of the change in entropy of the surroundings. So let's get into this. So we saw in my previous video, we're talking about how freezing water and the condensation of water into fog is spontaneous at low temperatures, and that this is spontaneous even though there's a decrease in the entropy of the system, because this leads to an increase, a larger increase in entropy of the surroundings. It is spontaneous, right? So we saw that freezing of water is spontaneous below 0 degrees Celsius, but it's non-spontaneous above 0 degrees. So we don't spill water on the table at our home, and we don't see it spontaneously freeze into water, right? But we do see it spontaneously freeze in the water, like if we put it in our freezer, right? Why is that? Why is it that it's non-spontaneous above 0 degrees? Well, this is because the magnitude of the increase in the entropy of the surroundings uh, isn't as great at higher temperatures. That is to say, it is temperature dependent. So right here, so it says because of the magnitude of the increase in the entropy of the surroundings due to the dispersal of energy into the surroundings is temperature dependent. It just means that the dispersal of energy into the surroundings does just not have as great an effect on the increase in entropy of the surroundings at higher temperatures. So basically, the greater the temperature of the surroundings, the smaller the increase in entropy for a given amount of energy that's dispersed into the surroundings, right? So all that is to say is that at higher temperatures, a given amount of energy that you add to the surroundings is not going to have as great of an effect on the entropy. And so one of the things to keep in mind, and to help us uh, keep this clear, is remember what the units of entropy are. The entropy, the units are joules, energy, per given temperature in Kelvin. So if you increase the temperature in Kelvin, right, then any specific amount of energy in joules is not going to have as great an effect. So the amount of energy in joules divided by the amount of temperature, the temperature in Kelvin, is going to be smaller entropy, right? So another way to understand this, or that might make it clear, is to use an analogy, right? So the analogy is giving $1,000 to a poor man versus a millionaire, right? So if I give a huge amount of money, or a large amount of money, or what is considered a large amount of money, to someone who doesn't have any money, right, that's going to have a greater effect on the finances of that poor person because they have very little or no money at all, versus if I give $1,000 to someone who's a millionaire, right? Someone who has millions of dollars, $1,000 is not going to increase his financial position as much, right? So that's another way. That's a good analogy to use to think about why is it that adding a certain amount of heat to the environment or to the surroundings will not have as great an effect if the temperature is high versus the temperature is low. And you can think of that as already, if at a high temperature, the surroundings already has a lot of heat energy in it. So it already has all this heat energy in it. So adding a little bit more is not going to increase the entropy of the surroundings as much if you compared to if you have a lower temperature or colder surroundings, right? And you're adding the same amount of heat, it's going to have more of an effect on the entropy of the surroundings at the lower temperature. So hopefully that analogy helps to kind of clarify the effect of, say, temperature on the increase in the entropy of the surroundings. And so keep in mind that if we come back here, so again, the key here is that the entropy of the universe has to increase, right? So the entropy of the universe increases, that's going to be a spontaneous process. So if that process can increase the entropy of the universe, then it's going to be spontaneous. And so in the system, like for example, our freezing water or the condensation of water and fog, that's going to be negative, right? So the entropy of the system is negative, and then in order for the entropy of the universe to be positive, then the overall entropy of the surroundings has to be positive, but this is dependent on temperature. So it's going to be positive and large at low temperature, right? So we're releasing, remember, this is an exothermic process. We're releasing heat energy into the surroundings. So that's going to be positive, but it's positive and large at a low temperature, right? The entropy is going to be positive and large at a low temperature, and it's going to be positive and small at high temperatures. So it's not going to be as large. So even though you're dispersing energy into the surroundings and the energy of the surroundings is increasing, with respect to how much of that energy is going to have an effect on entropy, it depends on the temperature in Kelvin, right? So we can view this in the same graph we did before. So at low temperature, it's spontaneous. Why? Because we have the entropy of the system, which is negative, and compared to the entropy of the system, the entropy of the surroundings is positive and greater, right? So this is greater, and so therefore adding these together gives you an overall positive entropy of the universe, right? So if we look at what it looks like at high temperature, it's not going to be spontaneous, because look at the entropy of the surroundings compared to this situation here. So at low temperature, the entropy of the surroundings is large. At high temperature, not so much. And so adding these together will give you a negative increase in or a decrease in the entropy of the universe, and therefore that's not going to be spontaneous. So that is the temperature dependence of the entropy of the surroundings. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned from this video, if this cleared anything up for you, then please hit that like button, like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell up there so you can be notified by other videos I put out. Put a comment down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Ask questions. I would love to hear questions. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.